And we're back at 9:16 on North Dakota Today. When a couple goes through a divorce, often the needs or the feelings of the kids get kind of pushed back to the back burner, so to speak, and they can end up paying a huge price for what mom and dad are going through.
That's right. So how do parents who are going through divorce make it as easy as possible for the children? And I think most parents want that. Lisa Getz is a counselor at Dakota Institute of Trauma Therapy in Bismarck. She's here to help us get answers to that question. Good morning, Lisa. I would say just the fact that you work at the Trauma Therapy Center says something about divorce on kids. I mean, it is, we don't want to downplay that. It can be very hard on children.
It truly can. You know, I mean, if they're given misinformation or led to come up with their own ways of filling in the blanks that aren't accurate, it causes additional problems later on, you know.
Speaking from personal experience, gosh, it's been almost 10 years now when my wife and I got divorced, and we told our kids about mom and dad's plans to separate and get a divorce. They were floored, mainly because we never fought. And so they thought everything was just hunky-dory, and so they were just floored when they got the news. So should we have done something differently?
You know, it all depends on that situation, but yet when you're coming to tell them, they are going to be shocked unless you have some type of trigger or something that's leading up to it that
Right. In some cases, they just know.
Yeah,
They just
if
know.
they're
Right.
always seeing mom and dad fighting, they know things aren't right.
right, you know, but if they don't ever see them argue or fight or bicker or it just comes up, then yeah, they're going to be shocked.
Can I ask a kind of a question? I've heard from people and from therapists that, you know, in some cases when there's constant bickering, there's constant stress, that divorce is actually a good thing.
Kind of relief.
It's a relief for the kids.
In some ways it can be, because then they have something stable. They don't have that environment that's constantly stressful. They can have some downtime, they can rest.
Okay. Well, we've got a list of the biggest mistakes that parents make when they're going through the process of divorce, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on these, all right? The first one on the list, making the child the messenger. And how many times have we heard this? You need to tell your father this, blah, 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 or tell your mother, blah, 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 blah. The kid acts as a go-between.
Right. And that is not helpful, because then that's putting the child in as a referee. They're having to balance out the information. Sometimes they don't even have accurate information. You know, if you have a 4 or 5-year-old who's trying to relay information to somebody, it's not accurate. You have a 16-year-old who's trying to relay information to dad or mom. They're put in the middle, which causes even more chaos for them.
Not only that, but you tend to try to buffer the message so
Right.
that the message doesn't even probably get through accurately anyway.
Correct.
So, okay.
Well, and then there's always the temptation, and I don't know how this happened. Well, yeah, I do know how this happens. You make your ex-partner out to be the bad guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's never a good thing.
It's not fair to the kids because they love you both.
Right. And they are both mom and dad, so they're always going to have some type of love for them.
Okay.
All right. Let's go back to our list right now, the top 5 mistakes we make for our kids when we're going through a divorce. Making the child be your therapist. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, you need to find your own support network or get your own therapist and work through those issues first, because your children need your support and they need to have someone that they can rebound or reflect from. And so when you're talking with your child to help get through this issue, they're just not geared and able to handle that.
Yeah, how can you expect a child to be able to support you in this and be your therapist?
Even
so
a
to speak?
teen, I would think.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
because while they see you're unhappy and they maybe want to help you, it would be so upsetting to them to see you upset. I mean, I remember, you know, being very upset whenever my parents were upset.
Right. And so if your mom came to you and was dumping on you about dad, or if dad's dumping on you about mom, it's going to be very hard too, because then again, you're put in the middle, you're becoming a messenger. How much information do you share when you go to each home? Again, it becomes that referee, and they're just not ready for that, and you're putting a lot of undue stress on them.
Okay.
Right.
We've got more on the list, and when we come back, we will talk more about this very important topic. Don't go away.